Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, we'll take a look at Wonderland Montessori. It's a group of schools here in Dallas that's really making a difference. That's next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, my public relations firm has had the honor of working with Wonderland Montessori here in the DFW area for 10 years or so, and I couldn't be more pleased to have Shannon Blackwell in studio. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having us.
Well, I know everybody has heard of Montessori, but what is it?
So Montessori is interesting that it is not a trademark term. So you can go out this afternoon and go open up a Montessori school yourself, not even knowing exactly what it is. But it was started in 1906 by Dr. Maria Montessori. It has 3 primary components that you should look for when you are going to see if a Montessori school is going to be right for you. The first is that you have a mixed age group of children. So children are separated into groups that are 0 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 12. The younger children are typically in an infant environment that is about 0 to 18 months, depending on when they're walking well, and then toddler, which is going to be about 15 to 18 months, up to the time when they're ready to go into the children's house. The purpose of the mixed age group is that the children are able to take the time to come in, learn to follow older peers and see like that peer interaction and how everybody's acting and how they acclimate and work with kind of a positive peer pressure. As they get a little bit older in the group, they are able to mentor the younger children, and for the younger children to then kind of help them grow into that leadership role that they have as one of the older children in the group. And this gives kids a really good opportunity to interface in different ways with different personalities and learn those skills at a very early age. The children are taking part in a prepared environment, so everything that is there, the second piece, is designed for them and for that stage of development. So we're not going to give them car keys and send them out to go drive a car. That's not where they're developmentally at. But they're going to have furniture that is sized for them. They're going to have activities that are not only sized for them, but also enticing to them, that follow kind of color and order and speak to the place where they're at developmentally at whatever age. The third component, and personally what I think is the most important component, is the prepared adult, because the prepared adult is the person who prepares the environment and facilitates the work of the children in the mixed age group. The prepared adult in our case, and in most high fidelity Montessori programs, is MACT certified through one of several different organizations that are around the world, and they go through training that is typically on top of their college degree to learn how specifically to execute the Montessori method in the classroom.
Excellent. Tell us about COVID. What was that like?
COVID was, I think, an interesting time for anybody in the education sector, because especially with what we do, it's very hands-on, and we had to think through how do we support families that are at home, that want to continue to implement Montessori philosophy. And Montessori philosophy is something that is very different and more expansive than even the Montessori method. Montessori method in a classroom is got a lot of those prepared environment pieces, the pink towers, the red rods, the things that you see and can go get on Etsy or get on Amazon. But the Montessori philosophy is something that is holistically about respect for the child and respect for humankind, no matter their size. And so helping parents to, implement that Montessori philosophy of parenting was something that we found really enriching and encouraging and good for us as we were working through that, while also reopening and serving the children in the classroom and their needs. And now we're at the time where we've got families that are coming in that they've been home for a couple of years, and the children as one of my sweet assistants told me that her niece hadn't really been out before COVID, and then when she went to go and join a school, she said, well, she acts just the same outside of the home as she does in the home because she's just not spent much time outside. So it's really kind of a matter of adjusting our expectations that when we first came back, especially our elementary kids who are very social, needed to have a lot of social time and social interaction. And that was the work that they needed to do to process the experience they'd had over the last year.
Sure.
So it's all about just adjusting for that.
And there was a wonderful piece done on Channel 8 about a year ago. Let's go ahead and roll that now.
If you're in the business of childcare, things aren't exactly booming. That's why at Wonderland Montessori and Trophy Club and the 7 other centers they operate, 90% of the children are gone.
Just to stay open is about a $50,000 loss per center per month.
For a lot of businesses, these are dark days. But for the kids still here, there's a bright side to this painful pandemic.
And it's given the kids a lot of time and the adults to work on some different projects, just to say thank you.
They have spent their days making signs, drawing pictures, and writing notes to say thank you to essential workers.
We are thankful.
Of course, they're not able to hand these out, so they're taking pictures and then emailing those pictures.
But this may sound like just a school assignment rather than genuine goodwill. However, these kids very much understand the gravity of the situation. Quite possibly better than anyone.
It's exclusively the children of essential workers.
Their moms and dads are the ones on the front lines. Doctors, nurses, first responders, and grocers. The only reason these kids are still here is to take care of them while their parents take care of us. Which is why they're grateful, not only for mom and dad, but everyone working to get through this.
Just saying thank you to anyone that we can is a big thing. It's important to all of us to have that connection to the greater community.
A reminder, for those of us stuck at home, there's no better way to help than letting someone know how important they really are. In Trophy Club, I'm Sean Giggy.
That is so impressive. What strikes me is that you're very creative and you really encourage your kids to be creative.
We do. I think that that's something that is important for parents, it's important for children, it's important for educators to feel like we're allowing children at the level that they can communicate to communicate how they're feeling. And especially over the last couple of years, that ability to articulate what you're feeling and articulate the ambiguity of what we're feeling as children and as adults has been important for us to encourage. It helps reduce their frustration and grow their ability to feel like they're connecting in the school and beyond.
Sure. In addition to Montessori, you offer some childcare services, which are so critical right now because of the pandemic, and so many parents can't go to a job without some kind of childcare, correct?
Yes, and we have, so our Montessori programs run during the academic day, much like you would expect in any private or public school setting, but we also offer before care that at most campuses starts as early as 7 a.m. and then aftercare that runs after the school day. And then we also offer holiday care during those times. And that is aligned with Montessori education and supporting the needs of working families.
Yeah, and let's talk about why that's so important, because I know especially during the height of the pandemic, some people were having to choose between work and home. Were they not, because of childcare issues?
Yes, the childcare industry in general and education in general has become just, we experienced in private education and in childcare as well, the same thing that the public school education experienced, that teachers want to make sure that they're safe and they want to make sure that they've got what they need to stay safe and stay responsible and healthy. And so we spent a lot of time, determining what are our COVID policies, working through those policies. We were very fortunate to have a lot of parents that worked with us and helped craft those. And then now, as we're unwinding them slowly, partially, we've also implemented a lot of things that we will carry on into the future and that will serve the needs of our campuses very well.
Outstanding. Okay, final thoughts. What would you like to leave the audience with?
I think if you haven't gone and toward a high fidelity Montessori school, go and do it. Go and see what it's all about. Go and ask questions. Go into it and observe. The most important thing that you can do as a parent, as a person, is to observe what's happening around you and observe the feeling that you get, especially when you go into a school campus, and the feelings that you can see through observation are being expressed by the children around you.
Outstanding. You've been an amazing guest. We're going to end with the website, which is wonderlandmontessori.com. Shannon Blackwell, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.